Okay, I'm live. Looks like chat section's back. I had turned off my computer, tried to get back in. It didn't recognize me. I went to recover user, which was easy, thank goodness. They said reconnect to your Wi-Fi. So I guess when I turn off the Acer, it just disconnects me from everything. I'm going to give people just a couple of minutes to come here and get on. And then I wasn't sure what to do. But because I am very focused on Goddess Astarte, I thought I would have a discussion on her this evening. So I've got my hot coffee here. A sugar-free energy drink. Don't know if I can play any music, so hum a tune and I'll be back in a minute. This is not very hot. All right, let's see if my hair looks a little better. I'm going to post that I'm going live. And if you want to share it while I'm doing this, that would be extremely helpful. Oh, look at that. It's posted already on my community posts. That must be a new feature that YouTube has. Well, I've hit 800 subscribers, guys. So maybe they're lowering the number or they're giving people some help. And yeah, look at that. It's already posted on the community post. And it says I'm already live. I didn't know they did that. Did you know they did that? All right, so the chat is here. Let me say hi. All right, it's working. I've been doing neck exercises. I'm afraid it's probably a losing battle. You know, when you're on camera, you've got to do your best. So, I mean, it might be helping a little tiny bit. Plus, I've been exercising and losing weight. All right. So, I thought tonight's discussion would be about the ancient Phoenician Canaanite goddess Astarte. What is a goddess? And, you know, what does it mean to work with her? When I'm done here, I'm going to make a video, which I have been planning for 3 days. I was sick for 4 weeks. Okay. I'm not going to lie. It really got me down. I had laryngitis for 4 days. I had a sinus infection that wouldn't go away. It kept coming back. And I've had to go out and work in historic low winter temperatures of like 24 degrees below zero. In some places, it was lower than that. I have to try to figure out how I can move. It's not that easy. I thought about North Carolina, and then it snowed. If you know, it snowed in North Carolina. It's also recently snowed in Pensacola, Florida. Remember I told you the birds were acting weird? Like what is going on with the birds? They had flown south, and then they came back. I think the birds are confused. And then they seemed to go back again, and then they came back again. So they were going south and coming back north and going back south and coming back north. They really were confused. They didn't know what to do. Their inner compass, I guess, was telling them that there was winter weather in Florida. They're like, well, we might as well go back to South Dakota. Oh, I should go brush my teeth. Darn it. So I went out in 10 degrees above. It's like 15 degrees above zero today. Hello. To get a few things. And so being out in that weather, it kind of makes me sleepy. And I thought, well, how am I gonna make it? I don't even know what to talk about. Okay. Think I know who's coming and going. When she comes back, I'm going to tell her to please stay. Ask a question. I'm coming to learn that some people are really just starting to learn about alternative religion. Okay. Sometimes called the left-hand path. If you're not in ceremonial magic, I don't even know. Why don't they call that the left-hand path? I don't know. Okay. It's older than Christianity. I think Hinduism was one of the oldest religions that there is. So I was going to make a video when I'm done here on a new service I'm going to provide on my Ko-fi account. And that is going to be a luck, love, and money ritual with Goddess Astarte. Now, I'm confident in stating that I can do this because it's been a process of many years where I've discovered that I can summon a spirit to the earth plane. And then a little while after that, I learned I could do it in the mirror. And I had tried a few times, but it didn't work. But then I did a meditation because my daughter's bicycle had been stolen. And I've told this story before in one of my videos, but I'd had it. This was the third bicycle now that had been stolen from our property. And never recovered. The first bike belonged to our son. So then we got him another bike and we got it registered with the police over at the local school. And that one got stolen and it was never recovered. So now my daughter's bicycle is stolen. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I don't know what else to do. I'm going to lay down and I'm going to meditate. And I'm going to do this with an entity. Now, I didn't really focus on very many entities at that time. I had a spirit guide, and he was more of a muse, more of an inspiration. And I don't think that I had yet met Oshun. I don't remember. But I decided to lay down and meditate with the Archangel Michael. And I said, I just laid there and I looked at the lighted pentagram I had hanging on the wall above my bed, reflected in the mirror that was across from that over my dresser. And I lay there for about 30 minutes. And there was a candle, tea light candle inside the Archangel Michael candle holder. I did that for about 3 to 4 days. And the candle that was inside, I don't remember how tall it was, after the third or fourth day went out. And I kept trying to relight it and it kept going out. And my husband at the time, my then husband, came in and said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm trying to relight the candle to see if it will light, but it doesn't stay lit. It keeps going out. He said, stop doing that. He said, the work is done. I didn't really know what to do next, but about a day or so later, I just intuitively felt in the morning, get up and go over to the computer and go to that website that has a picture of the dark mirror that you've been looking at to try to see something. Try it again. That's what I felt very strongly. Go now and try it again. So I did. And after a few minutes, lo and behold, I saw a mist, and then that moved away, and then I saw a blue-skinned female with a sword. And I mean, I was just like, oh my God, I see it. Oh my God, everything they said would happen is happening. I never saw anything in that mirror before. And I'd gone to that site quite a few times. I mean, 3 or 4 times. But today I'm finally seeing something. So, I had prepared. And so when I finally decided I was done staring and I needed to blink my eyes, I got up and I went about my business. I think my kids had come over and asked me, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking at this being here on this website in this mirror. Do you see it? And I think they said no. So I went about our business. Mind you, we had already driven around the blocks looking for her bike. We weren't just sitting at home doing nothing. And I was highly motivated. So 3 hours later, around 11 or so, my son and my then husband said, we're going to go to the grocery store. I said, okay. So they took a route longer on the way out of the mobile home park than they normally would. And lo and behold, there was my daughter's bicycle laying out someone's front lawn. So they retrieved it. They knocked on the door and they said, hey, that's my daughter's bike. I'm taking it. So that happened within a matter of hours. And this is the power of what's called evocation of a spirit to the earth plane, either in the mirror or divisible appearance in the smoke. Either way, this is a very powerful way to have something happen within a matter of hours. 24 hours or less has been my experience. So I'm thinking that I add the service. Hi, please stay. Add the service to my coffee account for people that are really going through a tough time right now. I've spent my whole life developing my psychic faculties, okay, where I can summon a spirit, see a spirit, call a spirit, and make offerings and ask it to do something, not just for my daughter or my family, which is really what I've been using my magics for all these years, and for me, but now for someone else. When I have, financial struggles, I've called on Goddess Astarte. Now, it's a very long story. I first came to find out about her by searching what happened. What is this dark mirror magic? What is this seeing a spirit in the dark mirror? What is this? What is this about? because I definitely had on my mind, I want my daughter's bike back, right? That little girl's lucky we didn't call the police. So my husband had told the father, I can call the police. And he said, no, just take the bike. So as I was searching dark mirror magic, I came upon a man by the name of Poke Runyon. Now, he is a ceremonial magician, a studied certified anthropologist, which I kind of sort of am like that, and created a order called the Order Temple Astarte, the OTA. And he's written 1 or 2 books about his work with ceremonial magic. Now, in this video on YouTube, he talked about how he was working with Goddess Astarte and calling her in the dark mirror. Now, he was primarily doing it for divination, for oracles, right? For a message. But I had done it to retrieve an item that was stolen from our property. Anyway, I watched. And as he talked about this ancient goddess, he said, I became curious about the lesser key of Solomon, having already studied the greater key and worked with the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life and all of the planets, which, I recommend that you get eventually into planetary magic. I had already become very familiar with the planets, and they were familiar with me. I was having things happen, but not right away. So I continued to listen, and he said that as he looked into the lesser key of Solomon, called the Goetia, and he dug even further in history, he discovered that, in fact, all of these beings were ancient gods and goddesses, but they had literally been labeled as demons as the Abrahamic ideology came into the area of Syria, Phoenicia, and Canaan. And then Christianity was rising in popularity and power, I guess you could say. They decided that they wanted one God to worship, Yahweh, and they stopped worshiping Goddess Astarte, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. So he said, by digging deeper, I found all of these gods and goddesses had been labeled demons, forbidden to work with them, turned into grotesque figures, and some of them had their names changed. In the case of the goddesses, all of them were changed to males, and their names were changed, and they were all given kind of grotesque figures. In the case of Astarte, she was changed from a beautiful goddess. Hello, please stay. Her name was changed to Astaroth. She was given a big, ugly man's face and a stinky breath. So now every entity in this forbidden book that Solomon had used were labeled demons. In fact, they were ancient gods and goddesses. And then, of course, there's the story of, Solomon had worked with all of these, but put them in brass vessels and threw them out in the ocean. To which I say baloney. Right? Paint your enemy black. Now, they might have secretly been working with those gods and goddesses. However, Poke Runyon said that when he discovered this, he rejected all of these names and images and went to start working with the original ancient goddess of love and fertility, Astarte. And he named his temple after her, and he got a beautiful statue. So then he began to talk about how he would bring her to visible appearance in the mirror. Now, I'm in a process of making a video, and I have shown an image of a being in smoke in front of the Astarte mirror that I was led to take the pictures, and showed the progress of this image actually forming in the smoke in front of Astarte's mirror. So I had decided about a year later, I came across some other occultists who were working with her. And I decided I'd learned a little bit more, and I was going to sit down on June 10th, 2021, and draw her sigil and write a request and give an offering and then burn it and throw the ashes outside. Now, I had asked for a compatible mate, a male in the flesh that I could marry and finally have a nice marriage, right? Find out what it was like to have a nice marriage. But when I went to bed, as I was sleeping, I was felt inspired to imagine that I was with my daughter, kissing her all over her face, telling her that I loved her. And in the morning, I woke up to a message ding on my phone from Verizon. Hello. Thank you for your payment, with an account ending in a number that I didn't know. So I figured that had to be my daughter. There was a past due amount and a current due for the phone bill. She was on my contract. And so I had told her, I was having trouble. I was struggling if she could pay another $20. She ended up paying well over $100, probably $125 or more at least, to get us all caught up. And I figured this was a Mother's Day gift. So I felt some gratitude, some appreciation, right? Astarte put this on my heart for my daughter to feel appreciation for me as a mother, for all that I've done for her, right? So what I've discovered is that she primarily works with females. This is true. The only incident of continuing to work with her and having a male show me some generosity would be my ex, who I was married to and we did have children with. So maybe she put it on his heart to spend the last 5 months that he was going to be here in this country to be generous with me. However, when the time came for him to leave, he didn't want to give me his truck. I wanted that truck, and I'd already spent a year forging a bond with the goddess and had already received several blessings. So I could just think about her, and within an hour or two, I would receive some type of a blessing because I'd formed an emotional bond with her. So as the truck was sold, the person who bought it didn't want to be responsible for any repairs, and he just returned it. Now, there's more to the story, but he was out of the country, and he asked me to help out, to make sure I got the registration paid up so it wasn't towed off the street, had it towed to my apartment, parked in front of my door, and proceeded to continue to get him to give me the necessary information to get the title in my name, and then I could go and have the repairs made. And he said, I said, well, who are you going to give it to, okay? He never actually gave it to me. He said, whoever wants it can have it. And I know that Astarte knew that I needed it, I wanted it, and I was going to need it in about a month. In 2 months. 2 months later, I had to move. So I've continued to have blessings with this goddess. What I discovered was she has correspondences attached to her that I have used previously for luck. Now, they say she's about winning, and these correspondences that are connected to her are very, very good for winning contests. Because until I came across all of this, I had been practicing money magics at my altar for about 4 years. And finally, one day I came across these 3 particular energies that I could work with on consecutive days. And I won a contest. In order to test it, I did it again for another company dinner that was coming up with prizes, and I won again. So when I learned that this goddess has these correspondences, I went, holy cow, all I have to do is follow my protocol, call her forth, summon her to the earth plane, make my request, and I'm done. I don't have to work 3 consecutive days. And the power of calling a spirit here is going to make things happen within 24 hours or less. So this is the video that I'm going to make to offer this ritual on my Ko-fi account. Now, right now, I cannot say that I can guarantee that this will happen, but I've just seen it happen. They come here and they linger for a little bit. And while they're here, they go and they influence whatever it is that they need to happen. And then they leave. So it's usually within, I'd say 2 to 3 hours. Now, I didn't receive the message from Verizon until after midnight. So everything probably had to process. And then first thing in the morning, 7 o'clock my time, I got the message that the phone bill had been paid. So this is quite a remarkable thing. Now back to the Israelites who had decided they wanted to stop worshiping any of the ancient gods and goddesses, in particular Astarte. And when they stopped making offerings and requests and thank you, right, for providing for our needs, because that's what she did, they began to go hungry. And they began to lose everything. Eventually, they lost everything, and they were easily defeated by the sword. So I don't know. I think some of them might have actually gone back to worshiping Astarte. I don't know. But that is a little history lesson, because I've learned a lot, but I sometimes have to go back and refresh my memory. Again, this man's name is Poke Runyon, and he has a video on his ceremonial magic in his temple of Astarte, and he talks about the history of how all these ancient gods and goddesses were demonized. And that's pretty much the way it is with that particular ideology. You know, if you're not doing things their way, it's forbidden to do anything else. And then, of course, there is the angry God syndrome. There's the threat of a fate worse than death. How they think they can get anybody to do what they want by threatening, I don't know, because it used to work on me until I broke out of the conditioning. And my narcissist ex-husband would make threats, you know, that if I didn't turn over my paycheck, he was going to not pay the bill, the light bill or the grocery bill. You know, at first there was a trigger there because it had been going on for, I don't know how long. I had been raised by a narcissist, and I had gone to a Christian religion from the age of 5 off and on with my aunt and uncle. So I grew up with that, you know, until one day I thought I really had enough of everything. And his threats were I just said, okay, I'll take my money and turn the lights back on or go buy groceries. But, you know, I've been doing more than my share for more than long enough and more than agreed upon. It was supposed to stop being 50-50 once I got pregnant, had a child. But, he was not about fairness. So Astarte is an extremely beneficial goddess. And she has a lot of aspects to her in regards to winning. She was also something of correspondences to hunting for food. And you can relate this to hunting for a job hunting. One time I asked for more friends because the 2 friends that I had were always busy. And within a few days, I went to a job assignment where somebody there had asked me, do you like to do crafts or do you like to knit or crochet? And I said, yeah, I was thinking about doing that again. She invited me to her group and I had 6 new female friends. We'd sit around and chit chat once a week. And I have countless examples over the past 3 years of finding things of value, receiving things of value, just by thinking of Astarte or thinking of what I wanted. So I have forged a very strong bond. When you are having a financial setback and you feel like you're not sure if you can be lucky again, that's how bad it is. Then someone like me who's really dedicated her whole life to discovering the mysteries of the mind and the universe can help facilitate bringing about the energies of this goddess on working on your behalf to bring you some luck, or at least stop the bad luck so that you can get a handle on your situation. But by bringing in a blessing, right, bringing you some good luck, you can start to see you can actually be lucky again. So if you want to advance in your career, she could help with that. If you want to break out of some type of limitation, maybe you've started earning a little bit more and you no longer qualify for economic assistance. So now you're going to need a little bit more money to provide these things for yourself. It's all about abundance, resources, relationships. And she is said to also be very good for reconciling emotions within family members. As you can see, she got my daughter to show me some gratitude. And this was by using me as a medium in sleep. Now, there's generally a certain time that I work to call her to the earth plane. But if there's another different day that I work, I think she will influence me to psychically, mentally, telepathically influence another person to show favor. So, I got the truck back. That's worth $4,000. I used it to move. I moved here so I could reduce my expenses. Well, 5 months later, I find myself still not able to put any money into savings of any significant amount whatsoever. And Christmas was coming, and my insurance, I was just not caught up. I had not worked enough yet to get caught up. So I laid back on the bed and I cried, forgetting that I have forged a bond with this goddess. I cried out that I needed $1,500 or more. And the very next day, I went to Club Pilates. I went in, there's a bunch of females there. We're all exercising just for the first few minutes. And a female comes in and announces, who has a gold-colored Toyota Camry. And I sat up and I asked why. She said, because it's just been hit. If you want to get up and go out there now, this gigantic SUV just crunched your car. And at first I thought, oh no, I don't need this. But I knew sometimes things look like a disaster. And it's just a little tiny storm that's creating a process for you to get exactly what it is that you need. No one was hurt. No one was around. And there was 2 females in the SUV. So they were pulling in slowly and they got out. They stayed. It was very cold. They came into Club Pilates and we waited for the police to come. We exchanged information. I called the insurance company. An adjuster came out like the next day or so, and he said, we're probably going to total it out. And I thought, thank God I still have the truck. And sure enough, the insurance company said, that's what we're going to do. However, we have to subtract some processing fees. You might not get as much as you would like. It looks like the car is really not worth very much money now, as we checked the Kelley Blue Book. And I thought, oh my goodness, please, I need at least $1,000 to myself, right? And I said, okay. So as I continued to call on Astarte for assistance, I don't know where they got the information, but apparently these people had been paying on their insurance for a while. And a few days later, I called and I said, well, the tow truck guy has not come yet. When's it coming? It's getting extremely cold now. I think it snowed a little bit. She said, oh, let me contact them again. And by the way, if you want, you can drive over to the insurance company and we'll just give you your check. I said, all right. So I drove over there, wasn't far away, and a female handed me an envelope. I said, thank you. I went to the truck, I opened it up, and it was a check for $3,000. So I got more than what I had asked for. And again, I don't know how it happened, except that these people may have been paying on their insurance for a while. But that was an incredible blessing. I had just received a second laundry list of things that were wrong with the car. It wasn't worth fixing. I was very unhappy, like gut-wrenching unhappy. I didn't know what to do. And so the problem was eliminated for me to my profit, to my benefit. So I paid off the car repair loan because I had put a brand new catalytic converter in there. Paid that off right away, paid another bill, got a pedicure, took myself out to eat a few times, and then took a few weeks off in the winter because I was afraid of getting sick. But then I had to go back to work, and sure enough, I got sick, and I've been sick for over a month. I lost my voice for 4 days. It's really, really bummed me out. And so, I'm back to now looking at why is this happening? What's next? And I really feel like she's telling me that was just a taste of what I can do. You need to ask for more. But I also want to bring this to someone who is really going through a difficult time and needs some help quickly, because I think she can do that. So I'm going to post the service on my Ko-fi account. And now if you use PayPal, PayPal does have a new payment option where you can pay in parts. And this is not a $500. There are magicians that are charging at least $900 for these types of rituals, because for those of us that have really studied and practiced long enough, or have become mediums and can actually call forth a spirit into the mirror or into the smoke, This is not something that the average person can do. And having forged such a strong bond with her, I had an artist. I commissioned an artist to make these pendants for me. And one night I had a dream, a dual purpose dream, where Astarte showed up to talk to me about our soil. And I made a video about that. She was also the governess of agriculture. This is why she's called the goddess of fertility. But in this dream, an older woman in a room adjacent to the room I was in had called me. Sabrina, come get your fire star. And she held a piece of paper and gave it to me. Now, when I draw a sigil and commune with her, and I give my offering, I burn it. I put the ashes outside. This is why she was calling it the fire star. Come and get your fire star. It's ready. And to me, she was like handing me a certificate, an award, right? I called the artist the next day, or I messaged her, and I asked her, are you done? I might have even told her I had this dream. She said to me, yes, I finished it. Yesterday, I think. She said, I got them all ready to put into these pouches and send to you. So I sent her the other part of the payment. I made an investment and she sent them to me. And then I decided a couple months later that I was going to consecrate them. So now they are consecrated and they are for sale on my Ko-fi account. This is an open weave design. It's not silver. I would have to charge a pretty penny. So I only take it off to go to the shower. Otherwise, it's on me. And sometimes I can loosen up the string and make it longer and stick it in my shirt. So nobody else can see it. They're not going to have any of their subconscious fears or prejudices attached to it. They're not going to feel any kind of way like that when they look at it. I don't need to subject myself to somebody else's negative energy because they don't have any idea that they've been brainwashed to believe that something is innocuous and beneficial as a update device. What? As the goddess Astarte is not a demon. That's a whole nother subject, guys. I actually lived in a severely haunted house, and I've actually seen demons, and they're really ugly for sure, and sometimes they smell really bad. But those are completely different types of beings, and they do nothing but wreak havoc on your life. The total opposite of what Goddess Astarte does. Those things don't let you get any sleep. They make things happen in your house. Not good things, okay? I started to write a book about it and I couldn't finish it because I didn't want to be thinking about all that kind of energy. But the energy that I've had in working with ancient gods, goddesses, and kings, right, is the total opposite. Total opposite. All right, so I've been talking for 44 minutes. This has not been a very fruitful live, unfortunately. Maybe it'll get more love afterwards. But before I lose my voice, I'm going to set up my ring light. I'm going to sit and I'm going to talk about this service that I'm going to put up on my Ko-fi account. So if you understand this and you're interested and you want to go to my account and look at this service, I'm going to explain on the video what you're going to need to tell me in the message area so that I can call on Astarte to bring you some luck, to bring you some favor, or to bring you some money. And you're just going to have to be specific as to what it is that you want. I can't guarantee anything, but like I said, I can tell you that she has always surprised me, and spirits have usually given me more than what I have asked for. So namaste. God is blessed. Blessed be. And I will see you on the next life.